Hi there, my name is Troy Kinsey. Welcome back to our training series, Service Management Essentials. In this series, we discuss how to assess and mature the delivery and support of services regardless of the service industry. In this module, we are going to gather the information we need to better understand where the organization is, so current state, what the priorities are, design principles, and where we want to end up, our objectives. We're going to use this information in subsequent modules to help us devise the best path to reach those objectives and then create the structures and processes necessary to help ensure our success. OCMs, or Organizational Change Management, and Service Management Maturity Assessment are definitely a part of discovery, but we're going to cover those separately in modules 3 and 4 respectively. So let's get started. Lesson 1, why is discovery important? So the objective here is to better understand why we shouldn't bypass this phase in the first place. It's important to have a clear understanding of the organization's current state from various perspectives and not just a singular point of view, regardless of how important that view is. It's also important to understand what customers, support and delivery personnel, and of course leadership consider the most important. What are the organization's priorities, in other words? At the end of the day, we want to ensure that we have alignment, common ground, and ensure that we are identifying, prioritizing, and addressing the various key needs of the organization as they pertain to service management. We're going to want to ensure that our analysis is comprehensive, but also we want to make sure this is not a never-ending endeavor. There's such a thing as analysis paralysis, and we're always going to be discovering things as we go forward. Also, it's important that we recognize efforts already completed and incorporate those where appropriate versus starting from scratch, where it's feasible. By gathering the information in a structured manner, we can accomplish each of these goals effectively and efficiently. And at the end of the discovery phase, we should really understand the definition of success from various perspectives, the design principles that we're going to use to shape and prioritize our work, the value that the organization is delivering to customers, the needs and expectations of the customers who are receiving that value, so their own needs and expectations. Lastly, we should know where to go to obtain the information we need in subsequent modules. For example, the information we're going to need for OCM, Organizational Change Management Assessment in Module 3, and for our assessment of the current service management maturity in Module 4. And compiling all this information to create a roadmap and associated schedules in Module 5. So discovery is important because it helps us ensure that we understand what's working, what's not, where everyone stands in terms of the current status, and potential future state. Also, our discovery process can provide clues as to what potential pitfalls we're going to want to avoid in the future, and how we might fundamentally achieve success. So lesson 2, adopting an approach to categorization. So the objective here is to ensure that we're adopting an efficient and effective approach to information gathering. Let's start by structuring how we're going to gather information. So first of all, there's a lot of information to review when improving a service management environment. And it's easy to get overwhelmed in this stage. Therefore, it's important that we act with intention and we have a plan. In this module, and when we discuss OCM in Module 3 and Maturity Assessment in Module 4, we'll review those questions that are really most relevant to our needs. Now, one of the challenges is that information that we're going to need is typically scattered across various departments and repositories. So it's not really advisable to try to make copies of all these and store them in a central location. Instead, it can be helpful to index and reference from one consolidated source and keep them where they currently stand. As we proceed to identify the information we're looking for, we're going to identify potential sources, and we'll track those as well. So lesson 3, definition of success. The purpose here is to ensure that we understand the definition of success from everyone's perspective, especially leadership. In Module 1, we discussed outlining the definition of success for the initiative when we created a charter, and we're going to continue to drive that concept home in this module. We're looking at this information, again, from the perspective of leadership first and foremost, but it's also important to understand customers' and employees' point of view as well. To better understand what success looks like in general terms, it's helpful to start with open questions. So quite simply, describe how you envision success. Do you have an idea of what you consider mature or successful? And this can be a composite of images or experiences. And if so, please describe those experiences based upon various stakeholders' perspectives. So customers, employees from delivery and support teams, for example, leadership, vendors and partners as well. And to ask the question, can you provide examples of how this is not happening today? Next, what issues or problems are you currently trying to resolve? What's currently working and what's not from the perspective of, again, customers, employees, leadership, vendors, partners, all perspectives. Are there specific areas, for example, that the organization wants to focus on? Another good question. Lesson 4, marketing position. So the purpose here is to better understand how the organization differentiates itself from competitors in the marketplace. Now, the answers to these questions are going to help us identify design principles. At the end of the day, it's helpful to be able to complete this marketing statement. So our organization provides this package of services or products in this manner to these customers, which provides this value, and that is what distinguishes us from our competitors. So why is this useful? This provides us with a basic understanding of what value the organization is delivering to customers. And if this isn't clear, we can conduct a high-level SWOT analysis. So SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths refer to internal strengths. So for example, team attitude, motivation, specialty skills, effective and efficient structures and processes. And weaknesses are internal as well. These are, of course, counter those strengths. And examples might include lack of motivation, lack of a high-functioning workforce, inefficient and ineffective structures and processes. Opportunities refer to external opportunities, and these are market opportunities generally that exist outside the organization, such as barriers to market entry, patents, a loyal customer base, those areas that are typically coveted by other service providers in the market. And threats, as you might imagine, are also external. So these are threats to the organization that might include diminishing market share, frustrated customer base, or lack of a customer base. So what value is being delivered by the organization? What services does the organization provide? How complicated or involved are those products or services? Is, for example, specialty training or skills required to use our service? How easy is it to switch from one to another? Are there various levels of criticality and impact, and are these well defined? For example, when customers can't use our services. Next is, who are those customers? Who is the organization supplying these services to? How sophisticated are the customers, and what level of investment do they have in the services or products that they're acquiring from us? Next is, who are the competitors? Where does the organization fit in terms of the market? Is it cost or quality, features, complexity? Lastly, for this lesson, how does the organization position itself in the market to either address the weaknesses and threats or bolster the strengths and opportunities that exist? In general, how does the organization position itself with customers and against its competitors? How does the organization make decisions? So what is the method and criteria used? How integrated is this design, brand, principles in our decision-making? How are metrics used in terms of identifying objectives and organization's process towards achieving them? What are the key drivers? And these can be defined in a vision statement or in a set of goals. But typically, goals are more temporary than design principles that really should span over a longer period of time. Lesson 5, current organizational structure, the ability to deliver and support. So the purpose here is to ensure we understand how the service organization is currently structured. So 1, partners and vendors. Who, if anyone actually, helps the organization deliver and support services? And how is that relationship currently managed? Are expectations clearly defined and consistent? Is performance metrics managed and reviewed on a regular basis? Next is, how is the delivery team structured? Specifically, who owns the delivery processes? How is the delivery team structured? How well defined are those roles? Who comprises the delivery team? For example, process owners, process managers, vendors, or partners. Are they provided with what they need to and empowered to be successful? How well defined are delivery roles and processes? So what is the current level of satisfaction and how is this measured? And then the support team. How is the support team structured? First, who owns the support processes? And we'll have a lot more questions for this individual when we assess the service management maturity in Module 4. But at the moment, just who comprises the support team, and are these roles well documented? What is the current level of satisfaction just with the delivery? How is this measured? How are teams, or better yet, if defined, service owners able to spend money or allocate resources to improve their services? Now, as we've discussed, service owners are those individuals who have been designated as being accountable for the usability and reliability of one or more services. So are those services, again, are those service managers or owners defined and provided with what they need to be successful? How well defined are delivery roles and processes? So let's dive a little bit deeper into service owners. So we asked whether or not they were defined, are critical and non-critical services, and what this means in terms of their accountability defined. And how does the organization decide or allocate funds to improve those as well? Lesson 6, continual improvement. As with everything we do throughout the process of assessing and maturing a service management organization, improvement's going to be somewhat iterative. So are there mechanisms and processes in place, or individuals assigned, roadmaps in place to help drive and ensure continual improvement? Now, we're going to discuss this topic in our next module, Module 3, as we assess organizational change management. However, in this module, we're also going to assess OCM and subsequently put together methods into our roadmap and schedule to help facilitate positive change. This concludes Module 2. We hope you found this helpful and informative. Please, if you'd be willing, share your own ideas and experiences in the description below. In the meantime, thank you for your time. Have a fantastic day. We'll talk to you in the next video.